As part of today's session, what we are going to discuss today in the sense, like we will try to see how to create your tables, how to create tables, and apart from this, we will try to see like how to get list of tables that has been created, and also we will see how to get list of columns that is present in your table. Along with this, how to get list of constraints that are available in table, and we will try to see what is meant by insert command and how to insert values into table, and then we will try to see what is meant by identity function, and we will try to see how to copy the data from one table to another table. Okay, and this is agenda of today's session. Initially we'll go with how to create your tables. Okay, how to create your tables. What is the syntax for that one?
Share your
Create a table and the table name.
Okay, suppose I just want to create a table called student. Okay, in this one I want to have columns like student ID, student name, and codes. Okay, I just want to have only these three columns. Okay, and for these three columns, for each and every column, when you are trying to create a table, you need to give your data types as well. So for SID, I just want to give my integer column, and for S name,
Krishna,
I want, yes,
share your screen.
Krishna.
yes, yes.
Oh, Krishna, I'm unable to see your screen,
Okay,
Krishna.
okay.
Sorry.
I'm sharing my screen as well. Now you can able to view my screen.
Yes, yes. Thanks.
Okay. Now I just want to create a table called student table, and in this student table I just want to have some columns like student ID, student name, and codes. And for the student ID, I just want to give data type as integer, and for
Yes.
name I just want to
Correct.
give data type as varchar. Okay. And for codes as well, I just want to give as
Well,
varchar.
well,
Okay. Apart from this one, I just want to give some constraints. Okay. So assume like in this particular student table, I don't want to have duplicate values. Okay.
mm,
So in order to not to have duplicate values, so what you need to do? You need to give student ID as your primary key, correct? So whenever
yes.
you give as primary key your student ID or student ID, you cannot insert any duplicate values. And apart from this, you can able to see codes. For codes column, I just want to give as default subject as CPP. And these are my restrictions while creating my table. So right now we'll go with syntax. So how to create your table? Create table, and I just want to create my table name. So I will be giving as student, and what are the columns that you want to create? Just you need to specify that columns inside your brackets. So inside brackets, I just want to write all my columns. So what are my columns? SID, then S name, then course.
Student
Okay.
course. Yeah.
Yes. And apart from this, you just want to give your data type. So how you will be giving your
Integer.
data types in the sense, after specifying your column, you need to specify your data type. So for student ID, I just want to give as integer.
Integer.
And for student name, I just want to give as varchar.
Where? Where?
And while giving your varchar, you need to specify how many characters your student name will offer. So for example, I am giving
Okay.
as 30. Okay. And also course. For course also I am giving varchar of 20. Okay. Now you have defined your data types. And what are the other constraints we are looking for? we are looking for primary key as well as default value, correct? So after specifying your column names, after specifying your database, I mean to say data type, you need to specify your constraint. So for student ID, I just want to give as constraint like primary key. Then for student name, I don't want to specify this one as null value. Always it should contain some value. So at that time, what you need to
Yes.
do? You need to have some values like not
What
null.
is
Not
no?
null, I can able to give, correct?
Yes.
Then for course, I just want to give default value as CPP. So for this one, if you want to give as a default value, just you need to specify like default, then CPP. Okay. And also when you are specifying your columns, each and every column, it should be separated with comma. Okay. Now this is how you will be creating your own tables. Now we will try to execute this particular table. See here, and also on the left hand side, you can able to see many databases, correct? Out of this particular databases, I just want to use a database called Richard. Okay. So for this one, what I will do in the sense, in order to use a particular database, in this one, you need to use command called use, and then which database you want to use, you need to specify that. I just want to use Richard database. Okay. Then you need to execute this. So it means like now you are going to use your Richard database. In this particular database only, you are going to create your tables. Like whatever we have been seen here right now, student table. So I have copied and pasted here that entire syntax here. Then I will try to execute this particular thing. Now command got successfully executed. It means like table got created under Richard database. Now we will see whether this particular table called student got created or not. Go to this particular Richard database and then refresh this one on top. And then try to see under Richard whether this particular database has been created or not. Under tables, you can able to see a new table called student table. And in this student table, you can able to see under columns, what are the columns that have been created. See, student ID with primary key and student name, and then course you can able to see. Apart from this, you can able to see keys. So what are the keys that are defined, you can able to see under keys. And also if you have any constraints, we have seen not null constraint as well as default constraint. See? So this particular default constraint will be coming under your constraints. This is how you can able to create your own table. In the similar way, can you please tell me how to create a table? We will try to create another table. Another table is marks table. I just want to create and I just want to specify some columns. I want to specify some columns like student ID column.
Yes, I do.
And I just want to give some courses, say like C, CPP, then SQL, then I want to have some total, then average, and finally grade. I just want to create these many columns in this particular marks table. So how to create that one?
So same like create table student.
Marks, right?
Yes, marks. Sorry. And open bracket. Open and close bracket. And
SID.
yes, I do. And C, CPP, SQL, total, average, grade. So at SID, it should be IN integer. And at C, it should be char.
See also, since this is a marks table, I just want to insert marks.
INT, right, sorry. CPP also INT. SQL INT, total INT, average INT, grade also INT. Grade, if it is a letter, then it should be a var character.
Okay, for average, sometimes you'll be getting in points, right? In decimals, you'll be getting. So when you are going to get decimals now, at the time, you just want to use float.
Okay.
If you are going to get any decimals, you just want to use data type called float. And for grade, I can use varchar as you said. Okay. Now, you have created your table called student table, and this is assume like this is your primary table. Now you are going to create your child table. So for example, in student ID, if assume like you are having ID called 001, for that particular student, you are going to insert some marks. So it means like this particular student ID should refer to your student ID of your student table. So at that time, what you need to do? You need to give references. I mean to say, I wanted to create relationship between two tables. I want to establish relationship between two tables. So at that time, what I'm going to do in the sense, I'm going to give references, my student, and then to which column I want to refer. SID column. So this is how I can able to refer these two tables. So if I want to get values of student ID 1001, so at that time what it is going to do in the sense, it is going to take SID of 1001 and corresponding marks it is going to take from this particular table. This is how you can able to establish relationship between two tables as well. And that particular relationship you can able to view with the help of keyword called references. Fine. Okay, and also you need to remember one thing. Always your marks, it will be in the range 0 as well as 100, correct? Either a student can get 0 marks or a maximum of 100 marks. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yes, Krishna. Yes,
Now it
Krishna.
means like you want to define a range for each and every subject. So at that time what you need to do? Yesterday I told you one constraint called check constraint. So whenever you are trying to insert some values, it will be verifying whether it is present in this particular range or not. Yesterday we have seen greater than 100, right?
Correct. Greater than 100, right?
In the
Yes.
similar way, we will see for check constraint as well. So always your marks, it should be greater than or equal to 0 and
And less than or equal to 100.
less than or equal to 100, right?
Correct.
In the similar way, for other subjects also we can able to specify. Check of SQL greater than or equal to 0 and SQL less than or equal to 100. Okay. And as of now, what I'll do in the sense for total as well as for average, I'll be leaving as such because I don't want to specify any constraints on top of that one. Okay, later I'll be using these two columns in order to compute this one. Okay, now we have created this particular table. Okay, and also after some period of time, what I will do in the sense, I will try to create formulas on these two particular two columns so that it will automatically calculate sum of C, CPP and SQL and it will automatically average what is the average marks. Okay, in future
Okay.
also. But as of today, we will be creating only the check constraints and we will try to see how to establish relationship and how to create your marks table. Now we had been created this particular table and we will try to execute this, whether it is our syntax is correct or not. Now it is fine. Try to go to a richer table and try to refresh this. Under tables, you can able to see table called student table. Under tables, you can able to see what are the columns that are present. Under keys, you can able to see. Okay, now you need to see marks table, right? So you can able to see marks table. Under that one, you can able to see SID. And this you don't want to specify directly foreign key, but here when you try to give references now, automatically it will be coming as a foreign key here. So yesterday I told you, right, relationship between two tables, student table as well as department table. Your department table, for department ID you have given as primary key, and department ID in your student table it has given as a foreign key, correct? So you can able to establish that one using keyword called references. So this student ID in marks table, it will act as a foreign key, and this student ID in your student table, it will act as a primary key. Fine. And also you can able to see under keys, this is your foreign key. By default, system will give automatically some default name for your foreign key as well. Under constraints, you can able to see check constraint we have been specified. So by default, system will give name for that particular constraint as well. Okay, this is how you will be creating your table with your constraints of check as well as your foreign key. Now you may be assuming like you need to give primary key only for one column. Am I right?
Yes.
But you can able to specify primary key for two columns. But this is not true actually. You can able to define only one primary key while defining a table. But while defining one primary key, you can assign that primary key to two columns. It means like whenever you are trying to insert particular record, it will check duplicate values based on that particular column. Assume like I am having another table called orders table. Okay. In this particular orders table, I am having some columns, say like order ID, order date, some item. And apart from this, assume like I am having some quantity. And in this, out of all these particular columns, I just want to define primary key for my order ID. Okay. And for order date also, I just want to define my primary key. So while defining your table, you cannot write like this. Create table orders order ID integer primary key order date. Okay, for order date, what I am going to use in the sense I am going to use another data type called date function. So if I am going to use date function, automatically it will be taking the values in the form of date. And I'm going to give as item somewhere care of 30, then quantity. Okay, but whenever you are trying to define your table, you should not give primary key on two columns, but as a combination of order ID and order date, you can able to provide your primary key. Okay, so that's the reason why I should not write like this. If you are going to write like that, then you will be getting an error saying like our primary key should be only one in a particular table. So instead of this one, what I am going to give in the sense, I will be writing like this. Primary key of order ID as well as order date. So I will be having only primary key, but as a combination of two columns, I will be defining as a primary key. Okay, this is how you can able to define your primary key on combination of two columns. So those two columns at a set, it will be calling as a primary key. You won't call order ID as one primary key and order date as another primary key. But as a set, you can able to say as one primary key. And for order ID, you have defined with integer, and for order date you have defined with date. But order date I don't want to specify any null values. So at the time what you are going to use, which constraint? I don't want to specify any null values.
No, none.
Not null.
Not none.
Okay. And for item, I don't want to specify anything. And for quantity, in the similar way, I just want to define with not null.
Not none.
Now this is how I can able to create my own table with primary key as a combination of your columns. Now we will try to execute. Now it got created. Now try to refresh your database called Richard and go under tables. You can able to see your orders table, and in this one you can able to see many columns: order ID, order date, item, quantity. This is how you can able to create your primary key as a combination of two values. See here you can able to see PK for order ID as well as order date. Any queries regarding this? Prashanti,
Okay, sure, fine.
any queries? Okay. Now assume like orders is my table. In the similar way, I just want to create another table called sent orders. Okay. In this particular sent orders, I want to have some other columns, say like order ID, sent date, item, quantity. But here I just want to specify this particular order ID as well as sent date as my primary keys, and it has to refer the primary key columns of your order ID and order date. So at the time how you are going to define your table? Create table sent orders. What are the columns that are present? Order ID, sent date, item, then QTY. Okay. Now we will try to specify my data types. For order ID, I will be giving it integer, and for sent date, it is date and not null. And for item, varchar, and for quantity, integer. Now what you need to do, you want to refer the order ID in this particular table and sent date in this particular table called sent orders. It should refer to your orders table with your order ID and order date. So how to do that? And these two, it should act as a foreign key here. So how you are going to write it down in the sense? As a combination foreign key, then order ID, item of this particular table. It should refer as references, orders table, and to which columns you want to specify, order ID and order date. So you need to write like this: order ID and order date. Now you have defined foreign key for order ID and sent date as a combination, and this particular combination you are going to refer to the combination of your order ID and order date. So this is how you can able to establish relationship between two tables. In my previous example, I have shown you relationship between only one columns between two tables. Now we have seen example relationship between multiple columns of one table with multiple columns of another table. Am I right? That's the reason why I have given order ID and order date as a combination as a primary key, and here order ID as well as item as a combination. Instead of this is how you can able to create. Now we will try to execute this. See here, we just want to refer corresponding values. Instead of item, we need to refer as order date. That's it. Okay, this is sent date right here in this particular table. Now fine, right? These two particular columns I just want to refer with order ID and order date. Then try to execute. Now what is the error it is throwing?
More than one key specify and call. Foreign key constraint.
Order ID and order date. Now instead of this one, what I will do in the sense, I will try to create another table and I will try to specify my primary key on item. We'll see what it is going to happen. We'll try to execute this and we have created another table and sent orders. Here also, instead of sent date, we will try to create item. And what is my table? Orders one, right? Column orders one dot item is not the same data type. Okay. It should be, and also you need to have same number of characters. It should be defined while referring. Now we will try to create this particular sentence. So through this one, like what you can able to get in the sense, you cannot able to specify foreign key for more than one table. Okay, only you need to have only one foreign key, but in primary key you can able to define more than one primary key. Okay, I'll check on this one why it is not executing. I'll try to give explanation on this one in next session. Fine. Actually, it should be created, but I'm verifying why it is not able to. Okay, we'll try to see on this one next session. Now we will go with how to create how to get list of tables from your database. How to get list of tables from your database in the sense, just you need to give us select star from sys dot tables. This is how you can able to get list of values, list of tables that is present in your database. Now you are going to use your Richard database, right? Now we will see here, select star from sys dot tables and try to see here. Now you can able to see we have created student table, marks table, orders table and orders one table. Am I right? So
Yes.
you can able to see what are the tables that has been created, and by default what is the object ID system has been generated, and what kind of table this is, whether this is user table or system table, at what time it has been created and what time it has been modified. All those details you can able to see. Okay. Apart from this particular command, you can able to use another command called select star from information underscore schema dot tables. Through this one also you can get information regarding your tables and try to execute it. Here only you will be getting in a high level manner. Earlier you have seen at what time it got created, at what time it got modified and all. But here when you give this information, just it will give schema of your table. What kind of table it is, what is the table name, that's it. And now you just want to get list of columns. List of columns present in your table. So at the time how you are going to get list of columns that is present in the table, in the sense you are going to use select star from sys dot, you need to give as columns, then you need to give where object underscore id is equal to object id. Object id as what table you want to give, that particular table you just want to give in brackets and then try to execute it. Now you can able to see what are the columns that has been defined. What are the columns that has been defined in this particular table called marks table. And by default for each and every column it is going to give column ID 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 like that. By default system will provide for each and every column one column ID. And apart from this you can able to use another syntax like this, select star from sys columns, where id is equal to object id like this. You can able to use, you will try to execute it. In this way also you can able to see what are the columns that has defined as part of your table, and by default it is going to give one ID. I mean to say for this particular table also one ID has been defined, and that is the reason why you can able to see here. The corresponding ID for this table is 23957608 but these columns that are not necessary may not be used, but these are the things that will be automatically defined by the system itself. This is how you can able to identify what are the columns that are present, what are the tables that are present in your database. Now in the similar way we will see how to get list of columns from, I mean to say instead of list of columns, list of constraints in a table. How to get that one? Select star from information underscore schema dot, you will be having some table constraints. Yes, we'll be having some table constraints where your table name is equal to, what is your table name? Marks table. So what you are going to get with the help of this particular information schema, and what are the table constraints you are going to get, and you need to specify your marks table. Through this you will be getting what are the constraints that has been defined as part of your marks table. See, under Richard database, under your marks table, you can able to see foreign key you have been defined for marks table, student ID column, and for C column CPP as well as SQL you have defined check constraint. That's the reason why you can able to see CK underscore, and foreign key you can able to see FK underscore. This is nothing but your constraint name, and also you can able to see what is the constraint type, whether it is foreign key constraint or check constraint, like that you can able to see. So through this one you can able to identify what are the constraints that are available. Any questions?
No.
No, Krishna.
Now we will try to see how to insert data into tables. How to insert data into your tables? With the help of your insert command. Okay. Now what are the tables we have been created? Student table we have been created. Now what we will do? We will try to insert some values into my student table. Okay. So what are the columns for table, for student table we have been defined? This is my student table, correct?
Correct.
Now I just want to insert some columns in this one. Insert into, and what is your table name? Student, right? And then you want to insert some values, right? You need to specify as values. Say like I just want to insert with 1001. Okay. Then I just want to give my student name. Say like Prashanti. Then I just want to give some codes. Some C. She has enrolled. In the similar way, I just want to insert another value. Student, then values 002. Hello. And here I just want to give subject as CPP. Okay. And I just want to insert only values for SID and SNAME, but I don't want to insert some values for codes. But whenever you are not inserting, by default you need to get as CPP, correct? So for that one, what I'll do in the sense, insert into student. Which columns you want to insert right now? SID, SNAME, and values. What are the values? 1003. Say like Richard. Okay. So here, what I am going to get in the sense, this particular 1003 value it will get inserted, and since for codes you have given default as CPP, so if you are not specifying any value for your course, by default you are going to get as course. Now we will try to execute each and every query and see what is the result. Now we will try to insert this particular value into your student table. And we will try to execute and see. It got executed. How to see the values that has been inserted? Select star from student. This is how you can able to see what are the values that has been inserted. You can able to see the record has been inserted, and in similar way we will try to execute this particular query. Insert into student the values that are present. Execute this.
There is a dot after 1002.
Okay, and we'll try to see how it got executed. Now this has been inserted, right? C CPP. And for Richard, you need to observe one thing. You are not inserting any value for your course column, and for course you have defined with default as CPP. Now if you are not specifying any value for course, by default CPP will be coming. We'll try to execute this. It got inserted, and if you try to see your student table for Richard, by default you are going to get as CPP. This is the reason why you need to give as default values if you are not inserting anything, and if you want to get any default value. Any queries on this one?
Krishna, can you please explain the last one? How you got this? I could not understand.
Okay, for 1001 and for 1002 records you have been inserted. Now you want to insert record called Richard. For this particular record, I don't want to give any course. This column I don't want to specify for Richard data. Okay, so it means like you want to insert student name as well as student ID. But whenever you are not going to give your codes, automatically you will be getting CPP. Why you are going to get CPP? Because while defining your table, you have defined with default constraint. So whenever you are going to insert some value into this particular student called student, and if you are not specifying any codes, by default it is going to get a CPP. So we will try to execute in the similar way one more record. Say like 1004, and I'm going to get this one as a Krishna. In a similar way, I'm not giving any codes for this particular student called Krishna, and then we'll try to execute whether codes will also get inserted automatically or not. Try to execute and see here. Right now you are getting CPP, right? Yes, Raghav?
Yes. Yeah, yes.
And now you got an idea why you are getting CPP by default. Since you have defined your student table in such a way, like whenever you are not entering course value, I need to get my codes as CPP. That's the reason why I'm getting here.
Yeah. Okay.
Any queries, Prashanti?
No, number.
Now, in the similar way, I just want to insert some values into my marks table as well. So this is your table, correct? You have been created. Already you have created this particular marks table.
Yes.
Now, into this particular table, I want to insert some values. So can you give me syntax for this? Insert
Good.
into,
Box.
correct, values.
Right.
Now you need to give values for student ID and all. And also you need to remember one thing. You should not start with 1. Why? Because already you have been inserted 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004. And also you are having relationship between two tables, correct? References
Yes.
here. So it means like whenever you are going to insert some value, it should be present in your student table. Otherwise, you are going to get an error. Now we will try to insert with 1001, and we will see with value which is not present in this particular table in student table. Okay? See, 1001 is already present. Correct? And we will try to insert some values for C. 77 marks for C and CPP some 88. And for SQL, I'm going to get as 87. And for remaining things, I'm going to guess US null, null, null. I can able to give null values, right? Because I have not defined my table with not null.
Correct.
Now, what I'm going to do, I'll try to execute this particular query. It got executed, and We will try to see whether it got inserted or not. It got inserted, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now what we will do in the similar way, we will try to insert another record. Now with what value? 1002. We will try to execute this. Now you can able to see second record also inserted. Now we will try to see we will try to execute both tables at the same time. See, for student table you have defined with 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004. For marks table you are trying to insert corresponding values of your student table. Now what we will do, we will try to insert another record into your marks table with your student ID which is not present in your student table. Okay, now till 1005 is available. Now I will try to insert 1005 record which is not present in my student table and see whether you can able to insert or not. Now insert into my marks table. Instead of 1002 I am going to give as 1005 and try to execute. This particular 1005 record is not present in your base table. What is
Not
your
a-
base table?
Yeah.
Student table. So how you identify whether this is to which table you are referring in the sense while defining your table you are defining with student references student. So whenever you are going to insert some values it should refer your student table initially whether that particular value is present or not. Okay, now we will try to execute this. You are getting an error. See, what is the error you are getting? The insert statement conflicted with the foreign key constraint. The conflict occurred in database record and you can able to see student table. So it is referring your student table. That's the reason why you can able to see your student table and which column it is conflicting student ID. So that entire information it will show. Any queries?
No, Krishna.
What about you, Prashanti?
No.
So this is how you can able to establish relationship between two tables. And now we will try to see what is meant by identity function. You are having any idea what is meant by identity function? Now you have seen your student table. In your student table, your student ID, it is starting with 1001, correct? This is your start value. Am I right? And whenever you are inserting another record, it is getting incremented by 1. Am I right?
Correct.
1002, 1003, 1004 like that. Okay.
Yes.
So why always you need to write like student ID insert into 1001, then corresponding values, then insert into another record 1002, all those values. By default, I need to start with 1001 and it should be automatically incremented. And why can't you innovate in such a way? So in order to do such things, SQL Server has provided a function called identity function. In this identity function, you are going to give what is meant by start value and what is increment value. That's it. So through this particular function, by default, you'll be getting as starting value and with how many values it needs to increment automatically, you can able to specify that through this identity function. Now we will try to see where this particular identity function is being used. Earlier, what you have done, you have created your student table, correct?
Right.
How you have created? Like this, correct? create table, table name, and all these columns. This is how you have been created. But what I'll do in a sense, instead of creating like this, I will try to use my identity function like this. I am going to create another table called student1, and here I just want to use my identity function. Identity, and I just want to insert my values by default with 1001, and always it should be incremented by 1. So like this you can able to write your own table, and with which value it has to start, and whenever you are going to insert something, with how many values it is going to be incremented automatically. Now we will try to execute this particular query.
Yeah. Yes.
Now it got created successfully. Now what you are going to do? You are going to insert some values into this particular student 1. So how to insert that? Insert into student 1, am I right?
Yes.
And then values you are going to get. Okay. Now in values, earlier what you have given? 1001, and then you are giving name, am I right?
Yeah.
Then you are going to get as SQL, am I right? Like this you have been inserted. But now since you are using your identity function, you need not to insert value for your student ID. Why? Since already you have given whenever you are going to insert some value, it should automatically start with 1001, and when you are going to insert another value, it should be automatically incremented by 1. So you need not to specify here. Okay, and also only which columns you are trying to specify here? Yes, name and course only, right? Am I right?
Yes.
Prashanti, you are getting?
Yes, yes, Krishna.
Okay, what about you, Raghav?
Yes, Krishna.
Okay, fine. Now for this particular student 1 table, I am going to insert one new record right now, but I am not giving my student ID. So by default, it should start with 1001 for sure. So here we will try to execute that.
By default, you give CPP, so we cannot give SQL.
It is not mandatory. So whenever you are not inserting something, it will come as CPP. When you want to give some value apart from CPP, you can able to give.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay, why you are getting this error na invalid column? I am not giving in quotations. You have defined with where, right?
Oh, yeah.
Now try to see. Select start from student 1. With 1001 it has started. Why it has started? With the help of this particular identity function. Now we will try to insert same record with another name. Same like Raghav. And then try to execute this.
Specify the
Quotation, right?
first quotation.
Okay. Now it got inserted. Now student ID, with which value it got inserted?
1002.
Correct. It will be inserted with 10002. Fine. Now in the similar way, I don't want to give anything. I won't give my student ID, I won't give my course. So at the time, how you are going to write? Insert into
Student 1
yes, name, values.
is Krishna.
So at this point of time, how you are going to insert?
It just gives 1003 Krishna and CP.
CPP. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. This is how you can able to use your identity function. Now, after some period of time, I just want to, okay, I forget this, how I have been created my table. Okay. After 2 days or 5 days, I just want to see what is the base value. What is the base value in the sense? What is the starting value? What is the starting increment value of my student one? You cannot able to remember, right?
Correct.
Now, if you want to identify what is the seed value or base value, so SQL Server or Microsoft has been provided another function to identify that. So what is that function in the sense? Ident underscore seed. Through this particular function called ident underscore seed, you can identify what is the seed value. And in brackets, you need to specify what is the table name. That's it. Through this one, you will be able to get what is the base value or what is the seed value. Select ident underscore seed. And then what is your table name? Student 1. Am I right?
Student 1. Yes.
So what is your base value?
1001.
Right? You are getting as 1001, right? So this is how you can able to identify this. Now, in the similar way, you wanted to identify with how much value you are incrementing. At the time, you will be using ident underscore increment.
Increment.
So with
Student
how much
1.
increment you are inserting?
1.
Yes. You will be getting as 1. Now, you have been inserted how many records till now? 3 records. Prashanti, Raghav and Krishna. So,
Yeah.
what is your current seed value here?
It should be 3.
Yes, 1003, correct?
Yeah.
So, how to identify that?
Select identity underscore student 1.
Am I right? 1003. This is how you can able to use your identity functions and how to identify your seed value, how to identify your increment value, how to identify what is the current seed value as well. Any queries on identity functions?
No.
Now, shall we see how to copy from one
Yes.
table to another table?
Yes.
How to copy in the sense? You just want to copy all the records plus structure plus data I want to copy.
Okay.
How to copy in the sense? Select star. Star specifies columns as well as data from my student. Already in student table I am having some values, correct?
Right.
I just want to write select star from student. No. I am going to insert into select star into student to
Student 1. Student.
from student. So what are the values that are present in your student? It will be copied to your student too. Now we'll try to achieve this.
But we don't have student 2 5, do we?
Yes, we don't have. But here, what is the main functionality? You want to structure plus data.
Okay.
So this
So you are
student name,
creating student 2 table and in the same time copying the data into student 2.
yes, student 2 plus data plus structure. Now try to execute. Now your student 2 got created. Select star from student 2.
From student 2.
You got created, right?
Yeah.
So this is how
Yes.
you can able to copy data from one table to another table. Okay. Now you may ask me like I don't want to create the data, but I want to create only the structure, but not the data. Structure only, but not data. So how to do that? You need to do like this. Select star into student 3 from student. Okay. Through this one, you will be creating structure plus data, but you want to get only the structure.
Yes.
So at that time, you just want to add additional specification saying like where 1 is equal to 0. Like this, you can able to create.
What this 1 is equal to 0 do, Krishna?
It is a function that has been provided. Just you need to use that one in order to create only the structure, but not the
Okay.
data. Now you can see 0 rows affected. Select star from student 3. Execute it. Only structure has been copied, but not the data.
Yeah.
This is how you can able to create your own tables or copy the data from one table to another table or structure of the table, only the structure if you want. In the similar way, you just want to insert only the data but not the structure. At that time, what you are going to do?
Uh,
We
Now
need to select the
student 3 has been, structure has been present, but
yes.
you want to insert
Yes.
the data right now. So how to do that?
Um, uh,
select star.
into yes. Select star
Yes.
into
Select star
star
from which table
into
you want to copy? Student table.
student.
But the
Yeah.
data it should be copied to which table? Your new table called student 3. Am I right?
Student 3.
So
Yes.
you will be writing like this. Insert into student
Student 3.
3. Insert into student 3. Select a star from student.
Okay.
So it
Okay.
will initially select the data from this particular student and it is going to insert in
Yes.
your student 3. We'll try
Okay.
to execute this.
Yeah.
It got inserted the data only. Now select star from student 3. Now data got inserted, right?
Yes.
Yes.
This is how you can able to create your data, only structure, both the data as well as structure. Any queries on this?
No.
Krishna.
Yes.
So we wrote syntax like insert into student 3. Select star from student. Can't we write select star from student and then I mean generally it happens the query we normally write like a select star from student and then insert into student 3. No, can't we write like that? If we write, what happens? I mean,
Yes, you can able to see what
that
is there.
yeah. Oh, it's giving error. Incorrect syntax near student
Yes.
1.
Syntax we cannot able to change. It is system defined.
Okay.
Microsoft has
Okay.
provided.
Okay.
That's it.
Done.
Okay. Now, okay. Uh, like in this session, we have completed our agenda. like how to
Yes.
create your tables, how to get list of tables, how to get list of columns, how to get list of constraints, how to insert values. We have seen identity function, how to copy the data, everything we have seen.
Yes.
In next
Correct.
session, we will try to see how to update your tables. Already you have been
Yes.
inserted, but you want to change
Yeah.
that. How to change that? How to delete a record?
Yeah.
How to drop the data that is present in a table? We will see in our next session.
Sure.
Okay, I don't want to mess up in today's session, and also try to practice from your end.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Krishna, can we download this SQL database?